Hello there, you absolute legends. Emma McElhinney here with Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. I am here to ruin your misconceptions about perimenopause, fat loss, and kick midlife in the face. So if you think your 40s are a drag, think again. Because every week I am going to be stripping down the myths about perimenopause. I'm serving you raw, unfiltered truths about your health and smashing misconceptions about fat loss. And a whole lot more. So if you thought you knew midlife, you don't know the half of it. Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice. So buckle up, grab a glass of something yummy, and let's get to it. Welcome to the next episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. That is me, Emma McElhinney. Hello, and thank you for listening. Before I go any further, I'm going to do a normal. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, plaster the podcast all over your socials. The more people we can get listening, the better it is for everyone, because we want to share this no bullshit, real life problem solving information, insight, and nonsense. Potentially is the best word. Yeah, let's go with nonsense. So today I'm recording this on the 30th of November. So Christmas officially starts tomorrow. Now, if you've not got your Christmas decorations up, get them up. Come on. I don't have mine up yet. They're going up on Sunday. But tomorrow I'm changing and putting the Christmas duvets on and doing all the Christmas things. So the next 3 episodes, I'm probably not going to release new episodes between Christmas and New Year. But the next 3 episodes are going to be all around the festive period and, you know, the challenges that a lot of people talk about, some of the mindset funks that we get around Christmas, and going to give some really practical advice and insights on what's worked for me and what has worked for clients over the years about how to get through the festive period without coming out the other side, feeling disgusting, without any energy, without being spotty, without gaining a stone, but still actually, you know, enjoying the fizz, enjoying the wine, enjoying the cheese, enjoying the festivities, because, you know, Christmas does only come once a year, and it comes every year, so it's not a great surprise. Some people act very surprised that Christmas has come around again. You're like, nope, it's the same time every year. So yeah, my goal is for everyone listening to implement 1, 2, 3, however many tips that you want, but still never feel as if you are restricting yourselves or feeling that you're having to be the boring one and all those kind of things. So what kind of got me going this week was I was chatting with someone who had said to me, well, what's the point even trying anything now, because Christmas is just around the corner. But when we say language like that, it doesn't need to be for Christmas. It can say, when we think like, what's the point? I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. You are actively giving yourself permission to not do anything. You're actively giving yourself permission to do the opposite of probably what you should do. Now, the reality is Christmas is, well, Christmas period, well, it's a full month, but in actual fact, most people, I did a lot of research on this over the past couple of years, when most people talk about Christmas and, you know, the amount of eating that they do, the amount of drinking that they do, is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. And most people on average have 2 or 3 social events. Okay. Now, I really should have done this before I come on the podcast and written these numbers down. So there's 31 days in December, and all of us, most of us, have 3 meals a day, which equates to 93 meals over a month. Now, if we remove 9 of them for Christmas Day, Boxing Day, Christmas Eve, that leaves 84. And then if we remove 3 social events, now most people's social events don't, well, especially in your 40s, could you imagine if it was all day? Oh, Jesus Christ, we'd all be in bed by 6 o'clock. But say it was 2 meals over 3 days that we're not going to be making optimal choices, that's removing another 6. So that is in total 78 meals that we still have. We still have to eat. We're still going to be eating over those 7 to 8 meals, aren't we? And we're still going to need to move our bodies, and we're still going to need to drink fluids. You know, we're not going to suddenly just get up on Christmas, December the 1st, and eat a cheese board for breakfast, because it's not going to make you feel good by December the 4th, right? So there's still 7 to 8 meals where we can make good choices, better choices, not perfect choices, because there is no such thing as a perfect meal. But we can still make optimal choices. We can still have, you know, we can still make a choice where we're going to have protein with that meal. We can still make a choice where we can have 5 portions of fruit and veg over the period of a day. We can still make the choice to have, you know, 2 to 3 liters of water every single day. And we can still make the choice to go out for a walk or do some exercise. So there is a whole heap of opportunity within that time. Now, this is where, if we're saying to ourselves, well, what is the point? You've actively taken yourself out of making decent choices. You've actively given yourself permission to make shit choices for those 7 to 8 meals for that month. Where in actual fact, it's that causes the inverted commas damage. It's that permission that then you go, oh, I'll just put it in the fuck it bucket. And then by the 5th, you know, you're drinking Prosecco 4 nights a week. But if you come at it with a different attitude and you're like, well, I'm really going to enjoy the Christmas period, so I'm really going to make the most of those 3 days, and I'm really going to enjoy my social events. But actually, if my goal has been in 2023 and I've not reached it, if my goal is to lose body fat, if it is to have more energy, if it is to manage these hormonal changes better, then why am I not actively encouraging myself to do that? And that's all mindset work. That's all mindset, because we have this intrinsic belief that making better choices is really, really hard. And it's not. The problem comes people trying to make perfect choices. And that is really, really hard. So if you set yourself up and going, right, in December, I'm going to be really good, and I'm just going to have like a bit of yogurt and fruit for breakfast, and I'm only going to have soup for lunch, and I'm only going to have a chicken salad for my dinner, and I'm not going to eat any chocolates, and I'm not going to drink anything, and then by the time 5th of December comes, you are going to be diving head first into a vat of mini celebrations and gin and tonics or beers or whatever it is that you get your hand on. And that is when you go, oh, well, I can't do this. It's too hard. Yeah, that is really hard. We're not advocating that we do that at all. But you can get up in the morning and you can have a really decadent breakfast, but it's still giving you the nutrient requirements that you need. You can still be in a calorie deficit and have a fairly decadent breakfast. You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday and they're like, I can't believe that I am getting up and I am having bacon and eggs and mushrooms and tomatoes and a bit of toast, and it's all for less than 400 calories a day. Right. So that is a really nice, like, oh my God, that's amazing. And when we then are giving ourselves permission to still have fairly decadent food, yeah, it might be in a calorie deficit for some people, it takes that shiny away. You know, it takes that, you've heard of the study of the marshmallow test that they put the toddlers through about delayed gratification, and the most successful toddlers that implemented delayed gratification, they went on to be more successful in their lives, because they could put a halt to that immediate quick fix notion. So if we start giving ourselves permission, I'm going to have it. So you might really, really want the cheese board, but you're not really going to have the cheese board on a Friday morning, Friday the 4th, if it is a Friday. You're not going to have that day, but I'm really going to have the cheese board on Christmas Eve. And every single Christmas Eve is my favourite day of the year because of the amount of cheese that I consume. And I am not talking, this is not delicate bits of cheese. This is a lot of cheese. And we spend a fair amount of cash on cheese. And I couldn't even begin to estimate the amount of calories that I consume on Christmas Eve. We have a normal breakfast. We're normally out and about. So I don't know, lunch depends. Dinner, evening meal is a chippy. And it's an early evening meal because I need to give that chance to digest before I get stuck into that cheese board and the champagne. So I dread to think. Anyway, so that's the first thing, is there is loads of opportunity. So my top tips over December are as follows. Number one, make a commitment that you're still going to get outside and get for a walk every single day. There is no such thing as bad weather. If you live in the UK, you're used to the bad weather. There's bad clothing. Invest in decent clothing and get outside and get moving. It'll make you feel heaps better just being out in the fresh air. Drink water. If you cannot stomach cold water in the winter, have some hot diluting juice or squash if you are English. People, when I talk about diluting juice, my English clients are always like, a what now? Like, it's squash or cordial. These are really easy things that anybody can do that are really good things to help you with energy levels. They're going to help you, your skin's going to thank you for it as well. All of these things. You can still eat 5 portions of fruit and veg every single day. You have to eat anyway. Why not consume some of it as being things that are going to give you vitamins and minerals, micronutrients? That's what we need. So you've still got really good opportunity to make good choices. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody's going to drop a dress size in December. Some people will, some people that are, they're like, okay, well, the 3-day period is when I'm going to be, which is pretty much what I'll do. The 3-day period is when, it's not about moderating. It's not about making better choices. It's about having whatever the heck you want and really, really enjoying it. Because it is only 3 days out of the year. So why not? Why not? Life is so short. And I'm not going to be eating like that every single day because it would make me feel shit. So there's the top tips for getting through December. So if you find yourself going, there's no point even starting, I want you to question that. I want you to question where that comes from and why you're thinking like that. And if that has been a reason why you then go into January with this all or nothing mindset going, oh, I've been so bad over December, I really need to be good all through January. And how often does that last for? That doesn't last very long. Most people think that I am overwhelmed with clients in the first day of January, and it's not the case at all. Most of my clients in January will come in the second half because they have gone into January with really good expectations and, very robust plans, and I'm going to drop a dress size and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do this. And they have all these rules and all these strategies. And then you get halfway through the month and realize that this is real life again, and we can't stick to those overly restrictive rules. And then that's when I go, I just can't be bothered worrying about, just teach me what to do and how to do it. So that's why me and most other coaches in the wellness, health space, weight loss space will always they'll not be mobbed in the first day of January. So please consider where this thought process is coming from, of there's no point even starting. It's not about starting and stopping. It's about creating and being consistent with the bits that you can be consistent of, and allowing yourself things that maybe don't fall into your typical healthy eating plan. Now, so yes, loads of opportunity. You can still do some things, and that is pretty much like real life, because you're not going to do all the things all the time in real life, because nobody can do all the things all the time in real life. Okay, so please bear that in mind. Now, in terms of social events, now alcohol's a hot topic just now. In the perimenopause space and the 40 and plus ladies space, many women in their 40s and their 50s just now are going through a period where they are questioning and redefining their relationship with alcohol. And I'm one of those people. And I've been very upfront about what have I been very up? I don't actually know if I've been very upfront. But I am your very typical 45-year-old woman, grew up in the 90s, grew up in the west of Scotland in the 90s, which I think we do have a particularly top relationship with alcohol, to be honest. And basically spent most of my weekends in a ditch or a field or the beach, with no phones because we don't have them. And anyway, so all very much a party lifestyle, Not so much my early 20s, my late teens, I kind of calmed down a bit. Early 20s, I was very mature and grown up. And then it was my late 20s. Yeah, probably from about 23, 24 onwards until I got pregnant with Archie. Very much party girl, a lot of alcohol, a lot of partying. It was great at the time, but it's only been in the last 4 years, I would say, that I have noticed the impact that alcohol has on me as a person and my relationships as well. And it is very noticeable in our perimenopause years when, as our hormones are changing, because we become more susceptible to some of the stronger bad side effects of alcohol. So you might notice that your sleep quality is crap. You might find alcohol really good and really relaxing. It helps you get to sleep, but you might find that you wake up at 5 o'clock and you can't get back to sleep. You might find that you have heightened anxiety. You might find that you have a low mood. You might even be on antidepressants. You might even have been diagnosed with stress. You might even be on anti-anxiety medication. These are all real common side effects of hormonal changes and also alcohol. So there is no way of defining going, are these symptoms of perimenopause because of hormones, or is it because of lifestyle? And more often than not, in my experience, most of it is lifestyle. So I've went through this process this past year, especially of, really identifying the big impacts that have happened to me with alcohol. Lowered inhibitions, you make poor choices. For me, that means I eat more crisps. We get that carb craving the next day. We're trying to stabilize our blood sugar levels, because if you think about it, alcohol is just pure sugar. And when that has to come out of our body at some point. If you think about how hard or easy it is for you to lose body fat, I have found it not especially hard, but more difficult this past 3 years to lose body fat. I used to be able to lose, say, 5 pounds over the course of a month by making really, really simple, easy changes. And this past couple of years, it's not been as easy. And one of the big things about alcohol is, yes, it's empty calories. They don't provide what do we mean by empty calories? I suppose is a good place to start is alcohol provides zero nutritional benefit to you at all. None. Absolutely nothing. And it contains a lot of calories. So empty calories, that's what that means. So we are consuming extra calories that we're not using for anything. But the most important thing about it is the fact that it's a toxin. And when your body ingests a toxin, what does it want? It wants it out of your body ASAP, which means your body is going to metabolize that alcohol. It's going to try and get rid of that alcohol before doing anything else. But when it does that, it means that other bodily processes just don't work as well. So it means that, your body's trying to get rid of this alcohol in your system. You could be in a calorie deficit. You could be doing all the right things. But because you've got alcohol in your system, you're not going to burn that body fat. Okay, so it can make it really hard to lose weight in that respect. But I think the big thing is about energy levels and mood and overall fatigue. Like a couple of glasses of wine it used to not even touch the sides. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? But now it is noticeable. My mood is low. I'm tired for a good few days afterwards. And that's just the result of paying attention to me. It's not because I'm tired. It's because I haven't had a good quality sleep because of the fact that I've had a couple of glasses of wine. So anyway, that leads me into the next bit of how to get drunk at Christmas time and still be in a calorie deficit, which is completely inappropriate and completely irresponsible of me. But if you're going to have a drink, that's easy to moderate without, going over 1 million calories, right? So when clients say to me, "Oh, I've got this event," I'm not like, it's not a let go of all focus or maturity event. It's just a works event. I want to go. I do want to have a drink and chill with my colleagues, but, my goals are still really important to me. What do I do? Now, this all depends on like the environment that you're in and your preferences for alcohol. But the best way of doing this is, see if you have this will get you drunk on less than 500 calories. So 3 glasses of champagne or Prosecco or Cava. You've got to set yourself some boundaries. So you're not allowed to have a top up of that glass until you have finished the full glass. Because you know what it's like, you start topping up, and you lose complete reality about how much Prosecco or champagne is in that glass. So you've got to finish the glass. You have 3 in total. Then you've got to have a big drink of water. So we're talking about a litre of water, ideally, right? And then 2 G&Ts. Gin and slimline tonic, which is probably better. At a push 3, it depends on the different brands and whatnot. But that is a fair amount to drink. That's going to get you merry. And it's all for less than 500 calories. So you can realistically be in a calorie deficit throughout the course of the week. You've got your social event, you set your boundaries, you decide in advance what you're doing, how you're doing it. You're going to decide in advance that you're drinking the water, that you're going to drink that glass in full before it gets topped up. You're picking your drinks, and you can still easily be in a calorie deficit. Okay. I think the key thing, one thing that is really common as well, is I talked about the inability to make good choices. We lose our inhibitions when we have alcohol, and in your 20s it might have been who you took home or who you snogged, and in your 40s it's about the food choices that you've made. So very different, unless you've got a much more active social life than I do. So thinking about, there's lots of studies gone into this, and they're really quite interesting. We can apply this principle to lots of different things. But when you do anything that is, it's increasing dopamine levels, so alcohol is a good choice, junk food's a good one. Pizza's a good one, actually. And I'll use the pizza analogy. So when you order a pizza, or you go out for a pizza, you're like, oh my God, I'm just going to have one slice. I'm just going to limit myself to one slice. And it's the same as drinking. I'm just going to limit myself to one glass, right? Nobody does that in real life. Nobody can actually do that, really, because you get that buzz, you get that hit, you get that chemical release of, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so good. So when you are purposely making these choices of the pizza or the wine, and it's not about not having it, like you're not going to go to a work social event and just say, I'm just going to drink water, and can you make sure there's a dry chicken salad in the buffet? Like, it's not going to wash, is it? But when you're having something that is decadent and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't be having this, right? First of all, you should be having it. It is real life. You should be having these types of foods. Granted, you're not going to be eating these foods and drinking these drinks every single meal for the rest of your life. But we should be doing things like this. But pay attention to what it tastes like, what the texture is, and how it makes you feel. And normally what happens is, by the third slice of pizza, the third glass of wine, the third handful of peanuts, whatever it is, you will find that you're not enjoying it as much. You will find that you are either full or just like this, I'm not even tasting anything more. You're just consuming the thing automatically. So pay attention when you are drinking about whether you're enjoying it or whether you're just doing it, A, because of habit, or B, because it's there and it's environmental. Because the research tells us that third one is like when people go, not really enjoying it as much. So it can be a good way of moderating whatever it is that you're doing, going, right, I'm going to have 3 glasses of wine, or I'm going to have 3 big slices of pizza, or I'm going to have 3, whatever it is, and see how that works for you, instead of trying to restrict yourself to one. You're not able to restrict yourself to one. So then you end up just going, oh, well, I've got no willpower, and you just keep going gung-ho. So it's a really good experiment to have with yourself, especially over the festive period, and see how food and drink is making you feel, and whether it's like, this is really good, I'm really enjoying it. Happy days, do what you want to do. But honor, if you want to feel healthier and happier and more in tune with your body, then that is a really easy way to do it, is to pay attention to how things make you feel and how things, how you're feeling about it. Like, you could have the third glass of wine and you're like, this is making me feel really buzzy and quite tipsy, and this is the feeling that I like. But I don't like that feeling out of control. I don't like that fourth glass when it's tasting a little bit tanniny, or it's a little bit bitter, or a little bit vinegary. We've all had wine like that, and you're just like, I'm just drinking this because it's here. Like, this is just not good. And challenge yourself to leave things. And this is a really good tool. Like, buffets are really dangerous for me because I really, really love a buffet. I really love a buffet. But, challenge yourself to, say, I'm only going to go up 3 times, right? That's a good place to start, 3 times. But for every plate that you have, leave something. Because very often, a lot of us at this kind of age range, remember the famine in Ethiopia, we were chastised for leaving food in our plate because there's starving children in Africa. And it was such a culture thing that you had to finish your plate of food before you left the table, which for a lot of people our age has really impacted their relationship with food. And they subconsciously now just consume everything that's there because that's how we were raised, whether we're hungry or not. And it is one of the things that has caused quite a lot of people to continue overeating when they're full, because they've never practiced what it feels like to stop eating when they're satisfied. So one of the things that works really well for me and it works really well for clients is actually actively leaving something on your plate, whether that is a couple of crusts, whether that is a small item. Like, food waste is a real issue. So this is not about piling your plate up obscenely to purposely leave a lot of it. It's like eyeballing and going, right, that's really what I fancy. And then leaving a mouthful, leaving half of a sandwich, something, so that you are proving to yourself, you're giving yourself that belief that you can do that. You don't need to eat everything on your plate. And it can be a really powerful way of doing it. And the other thing that I think most clients that I've had, certainly over 80% clients that I've had, this is a real challenge for them, is slowing down the rate of eating. If you think about your life, chances are if you do eat breakfast, and a lot of you don't, and you should, you are ramming it down your throat as you're leaving the house. So it's consumed really quickly, probably without chewing, probably without even recognizing what you're eating. Lunch might be grabbed at your desk and you're eating the thing while you're working. Dinner might be a rush job again. You're trying to get the kids out to their clubs or whatnot. So when was the last time you actively sat down and chewed your food properly, put your knife and fork down between mouthfuls, checked in with what the food tasted like, checked in with what the texture was like, checked in with if you were full, whether you were stuffed, whether you were satisfied, whether you were still hungry? And there's really good science behind this. And there's 2 main reasons why it's important that we can start practicing this. One is it can take about 20 minutes for your brain to recognize that your stomach has got enough food in it. Now, if you've got a big plate of food, say it's 800 calories of food. No, we'll say it's 1,000, right? An easier number to put with, right? You've got a big plate of food, 1,000 calories, right? You will sat down in the space of 7 minutes, which is, that's actually not too quick, but it is quick. You've just consumed 1,000 calories really, really quickly. And after about a minute, 2 minutes of putting down your knife and fork, you are going to go, oof, bit stuffed. 5 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, oh, I'm so full. And that's going to last for a good wee while. Now, if you had the same amount of food, but you slowed that down and you took longer to eat it, your brain is going to recognize that it's satisfied long before that you've finished that 1,000 calories. So you might only get halfway through and you go, oh, actually, I feel quite full. That was, yeah, that's quite good. And all because slowing down the pace of eating. Now, the last research I saw was that when people did slow down their eating, they automatically consumed 25% less calories over the course of a day. And that for most people is enough to put them in a deficit. So it's a really good tactic to try. And the other thing, which is really, really important, is around our gut health and eating slowly. So not putting our digestive system under additional trauma is really important for maintaining the integrity of the gut microbiome, which is just all the bacteria and stuff in the gut. So it's doubly important. And the other thing, and this is, I'm always really nosy when I go to a restaurant or I go to a buffet or I go somewhere and I'll look at what other people are doing and how other people are eating. Now, if you ever do see me in a situation where we are eating, please do not think I'm standing staring at you. No, I don't stand and stare at people. It's just something that I pay attention to. Sorry, my phone is going off and I don't know why. Anyway, it's just paying attention to looking how other people eat. And most other people don't wolf their food down at a rapid pace when they're in company, when they're in public. So one tip that can really help is when you're at home, eat how you would eat in a restaurant. Eat how you'd eat in a restaurant, because you're not going to be like shoveling it all in. You're going to be conversing, you're going to be looking around, you're going to be taking sips of water, and that can be a really good reminder. And the other thing is, if you have a toddler, I don't imagine many of you have toddlers, but if you have a toddler, they are really good at moderating their hunger. They are really good at identifying when they've had enough. They are really good at just saying, nah, I'm full. So if you do have children, don't force them to eat all their food. Do not force them. It can really, really damage their relationship with food. So there is a lot of tips today about how to navigate nutrition, alcohol over the festive period. Next week's episode is more about how to feel in control, still eating amazing food, and yeah. So I hope that has been of use to you. In the show notes, I'm putting together I'm hoping it'll be ready in time when this is published. I'm putting together a jingle bells. So bells, BELLES, like as in girls. Christmas guide, and I've forgotten the title. I've not forgotten the title, it's just really long, which is a 2023 Christmas extravaganza of food, drink, partying, and feeling effing fabulous PDF that I'll be giving away, and I'll pop that in the show notes for you as well. So one of the other things that I want you to know is that there is the opportunity to work with me for free in December. And I think that's really important to prove and to show you that you still can make progress. A lot of the progress my clients make in December is damage limitation. You know, they don't dive into this swimming pool of, you know, gluttony for a full month. And it means that they don't come out the other side a stone heavier. In some cases, I have seen clients that people that have become clients after Christmas, and they go, I gained nearly a stone over Christmas because I decided I just didn't care. And now I care because I'm nearly a stone heavier and I can really feel it. And it really makes me feel anxious and I feel horrible and I don't like what I see in the mirror. So it's about changing that thought process is the first thing. So I hope this has helped you today, and download that guide. And if you do want to chat to me, just drop me a note in social media and I will speak with you soon. And just like that, we have spiced up another episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Massive shout out and a huge thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you've been entertained. And remember, don't be shy, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep those heels high and standards higher. Remember, it's all about glowing, growing, and downright owning it. So catch you on the flip side, and don't forget to click the link in the show notes to get your freebie.